What do you want? Hello, what's this? Someone left me some money for a perm. Come to Harry. Ow! SpongeBob, oh my hair!
So it's been about 5 months since I started my self-experiment of not using topical minoxidil and using stemoxydine instead. The goal of this experiment was to help educate people who seem to think that you can stop using topical minoxidil, or oral minoxidil for that matter, once you have achieved successful scalp follicular growth. I've seen a lot of questions, like, when can I stop using minoxidil or even finasteride? The answer is simply when you decide you don't care about your hair loss anymore, and when you decide to become bald or go back to your original balding state. Anyway, what I did notice while doing this experiment was that it took a while for me to experience shedding. However, towards the end of February 2023 and the beginning of March 2023, I noticed more hair shedding. There was a spot on the top of my head where I noticed it was becoming less dense. And I remember sitting down, I was with, some chick, in my dorm, just sitting down, chilling out, and I'm scratching the top of my head, and she's like, "What's going on? Oh my God, why is there such a huge bald spot?" That's what she told me, and I kind of freaked out because I never had thinning on top. This picture that you see here right now, this was taken August of 2021, and I was in the dermatologist's office, and he just wanted to see if there was any thinning on top, and this room had a lot of lighting in it, and if you look at the picture, I had no thinning on top in that particular spot. Now, I'm thinking that because I apply minoxidil all over my head, like every single part of my scalp, pretty much, that there were some areas that became dependent on it, and even the androgen, or what would be the androgen sensitive areas, being the top of my scalp, probably developed an increased dependency on the minoxidil. So when I stopped using it, it started to thin out and shed. Same thing with my hairline and the side of my hair. It did the same exact thing. So again, I'm guessing that the shedding from this area and this top part of my head alone is partially due to me not using minoxidil for a while, and that particular area was hit. My hairline was slightly above baseline from when I started treatment, but definitely it felt less dense, and there was like this weird little spot that kind of came out of nowhere a bit behind the hairline. Kind of thinned out too. You can see it in some of these pictures. I would rate this like a pretty sizable shed because there were areas, again, that were very dependent on minoxidil, and what really concerned me was the top part of my head, the top of my head that became reliant on minoxidil. Maybe this should be a message to people to only apply minoxidil to the regions where you're thinning, but if you think about it a little bit more holistically, if androgenic alopecia is progressive, then it wouldn't stop at your hairline. In most men, it goes all the way to the crown, and when the hairline thins out and the crown thins out, it kind of reaches to the middle, and next thing you know, your top of your head to your hairline is completely bald. So my rationalization was, hey, apply minoxidil to all over the scalp. Now, it's May 12th, and I have been off minoxidil for a bit, and I'm seeing some regrowth coming back to my scalp, and this is off of minoxidil. So part of this experiment was to see what regrowth could I get back without using topical minoxidil or oral minoxidil. Granted, I haven't been using stemoxydine because I completed that 3-month on cycle, 3-month off cycle. So I'm off cycle for stemoxydine as of now. But yeah, I just want to see if the hair in those particular areas can grow back. Specifically, my scalp, the top of my scalp, near the crown area, or not really the crown, but just really the top of my head, that particular area in the pictures that I'm showing now. And this picture was taken May 12th, 2023. And I, just graduated, so I just wanted to put that in there. But the hair is coming back. It's actually growing. There's some signs of new hairs growing. And if you look at the screen right now, you can see that I'm using a scalp camera. And from this point on in the video, I'm just going to use the scalp camera to show you the particular regions that are thinning. So pretty much I'm just going around the hairline So I'm going around the hairline back and forth in these videos in a sort of arc-like pattern. So I'm starting from the right temple to the left temple, and I just want to see if there is any sort of signs of hair sprouting up, and clearly there is. And as the weeks went on without using minoxidil, by the way, I'm still on finasteride, and I have been using dutasteride. It was a pain in the ass to get it, but maybe this is affecting the experiment because it was to see if I can just stay on stemoxydine and finasteride. But nevertheless, I am seeing some regrowth. I'm seeing some actual visible regrowth as well as the weeks go on. So I'm very curious to see what will happen. Maybe I've successfully weaned myself off of minoxidil, but I wouldn't be opposed to picking it up back again. It's not that much of a burden. Like, we do things daily. You should be brushing your teeth daily. You should be taking a shower daily. You should be, doing some sort of exercise for yourself daily. So adding a pill or using minoxidil just once or twice a day shouldn't be too much of a burden. You just put it in your hair, massage it in, let it dry, and then go back to doing what you're doing. So this is the message that I want to convey to people. You can't stop using minoxidil and expect not to get a shed. You will be getting a shed if you were even responding to minoxidil. If you weren't a topical minoxidil responder, perhaps you don't have enough of the sulfur transferase enzyme that's able to turn minoxidil into the active ingredient that grows hair, being minoxidil sulfate, then maybe whether you used topical minoxidil or whether you stop using it or you don't, it wouldn't really make a difference. But most people are responsive to minoxidil to some extent. So hyper responders who stop using it because, I got growth in no time, that hair is going to fall out. Probably worse than somebody who had an average result. Even those who had an average result, when you shed and you lose those hairs, it's going to be a sizable difference to the point where you can see it, right? You can see the change of hair quality. You can even see some of your hairs shrinking in diameter because they've become reliant. Now, the capillaries in your scalp also have the ability to transfer the minoxidil around a general area. So even if you just apply it to one spot, it probably has broad localized effects in other parts of the scalp. Maybe not, let's say you apply it to the right part of your scalp and it goes to the left. Maybe not to that extent, but in the sense that the surrounding hairs to where you apply minoxidil, there's probably some sort of a radius that minoxidil gets carried to due to the capillary structures of the scalp. So that being said, you can't stop using minoxidil and not expect a shed. This was the purpose of the experiment, to show you how severe it would be if you quit. So this is pretty much it. I'm just rambling at this point, and hopefully this is, a bit of education for those of you who had that kind of question. So thank you, and I hope to see you on the next video, and hopefully we can get those follicles on the top of my scalp up and running again, because I'm kind of getting a bit concerned. That was kind of crazy, but the pictures, especially the one that I took today, I'm starting to see it, become dense again and grow back. So it's always a pleasure to see something that good come back. So anyway, bye guys.